And Ray, okay. I want to welcome all of you this Friday to our Spirit America Award ceremony. Normally, we would be doing this during one of our galas, but being as we are in a virtual format, we will be doing this virtually. And before we get started, I want to thank the lodges, Boston, Albuquerque, and Los Angeles for helping to put together, the videos. And before we start with the videos, I want to talk a little bit about the Spirit America Award. And this was first presented in 2003 at the 47th National Convention. And the Spirit America Award really recognizes the individuals who embody the indomitable spirit of our nation and whose achievements have improved the life not just of the Chinese Americans, but all of our fellow countrymen. And the recognition of these achievements really serve to inspire all of us. And what we do look for is acknowledgement in excellence in many fields, which can include political advocacy, the arts, business, commerce, education, government, law, media, science, sport, theater, and volunteer services. The lodges submit the nomination. We have a committee whose members do not include those who submitted applications to prevent any conflict of interest. And they have chosen 3 individuals to receive the Spirit America Award today. The first award winner is Major General Bill Chen. Major General Bill Chen, or William Chen, he is the first 2-star Army Major General of Chinese ancestry in the U.S. Army. And he has dedicated his life to promoting the Chinese Americans, especially the veterans, with his work in the World War II Chinese American Veteran Congressional Gold Medal Project, as editor-in-chief for his book, Unsung Heroes, and helping to educate the public about the Chinese American in the military. Ray, can you play the video for Major General Bill? Okay.
Hello and welcome. My name is Chen, President of the Chinese American Citizens Alliance, Boston Lodge. It is my honor to welcome you to the 2021 Chinese American Citizens Alliance 56th Biennial National Convention's Spirit of America Award ceremony. Every 2 years, CACA Lodge across the country come together at our national convention to set goals and elect new national officers for the upcoming year. One of the highlights of our national convention is the presentation of the Spirit of America Award. I would like to express our sincere appreciation for Boston City Councilor Ed Flynn for hosting our Spirit of America Award ceremony at the Boston City Hall, and to highlight the distinguished career of our Spirit of America Award winner, first Chinese American 2-star Major General William S. Chen in the U.S. Army. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Boston City Councilor Edward Flynn, a U.S. Navy veteran, proud to welcome everybody here to the city of Boston and to acknowledge the tremendous work, support, service, and sacrifice of Chinese American veterans and their contributions and services to our country. It is a huge honor for the city of Boston to host William Chen, Major General, U.S. Army, as the award recipient, and to acknowledge his tremendous career in the U.S. military, but also for being a leader and mentor in making sure that all veterans and military families are treated with respect and dignity. It's an honor to welcome William Chen as an award recipient today. At this time, I would like to welcome Esther Lee and General Chen as we continue this program.
Hi, my name is Esther Lee, and I'm the National Executive of CACA National Board. Every CACA Lodge has an opportunity to nominate an individual for the most prestigious award in the Chinese American community, and National Board will only select 3 winners at each convention. This year, Boston Lodge is proud to nominate our members, 2-star Major General William S. Chen, U.S. Army retired, and I'm delighted to announce he is one of the recipients of the 2021 Spirit of America Award. Now, it is my honor to present this award on behalf of CACA National Board of Directors to Major General William S. Chen. So before I present this, I would like to read what is in script on here. Spirit of America Award is presented to Major General S. William Chen, U.S. Army, in recognition of a lifetime of dedication, service, and leadership as the first Chinese American of 2-star rank in the U.S. Army, and as a role model for dedication and service, and as a highly valued contribution members of the Chinese American World War II Veterans Project, and as a visionary editor for the landmark publication Unsung Heroes, his historical narrative of the contribution of Chinese American World War II veterans who served his community, state, and nation while motivating and empowering Asian Americans.
Thank you, Esther.
Okay.
Well, this is a pleasant surprise, totally unexpected. Frankly speaking, I wasn't even aware that CACA had a national award for the Spirit of America. What I'd like to do is to dedicate this award to my parents. Without them, of course, I would not be here, but more so is that they instilled in our family the values that we subscribe to in the spirit of America, starting with the spirit of World War II. Here we have on the left a photo of me at age 4, dressed in uniform. But who dresses a 4-year-old? It's the mom. And shown here is my mom in her World War II hairdo. And so that's the spirit of World War II, where she was the proud mother of a young son and proud spouse of a U.S. Army Air Forces veteran and pilot in war in World War II. And so this is what I call the spirit of World War II. But if we fast forward some 46 years, we have the photo on the right. And so here we see myself as a brand new Major General in the U.S. Army with my young family and my proud parents. And so this is what I call living your dreams. How do you go from the left-hand side, a 4-year-old, to the right-hand side? It's what I call living the American dream. But of course, it takes hard work, passion, and the spirit of America. Now, the caption that I like best is the one that says, "Only in America. Only in America can a descendant of a Chinese railroad worker become a 2-star general in the United States Army." And why is that? It's because of the opportunities we have in America, the freedom we have in America and the rule of law. That's all part of the spirit of America. And so in dedicating this award to my parents, we have photos of my parents in their prime years and then in their golden years on the right. In my case, my father overcame adversity. He was the son of a Chinese railroad worker who became a Chinese laundry owner and operator. But he overcame adversity. He was orphaned at age 15, had to support a younger brother and sister. He was on the verge of poverty and homelessness, but he worked his way through high school and college. He graduated from college with a degree in aeronautical engineering, University of Michigan, but this was during the Depression. He couldn't find a job in aeronautical engineering because of the Depression and because aircraft companies were not hiring Orientals. But he persevered. He had a passion for aviation. He saved up enough money to take flying lessons. He got a commercial pilot's license, became an airline pilot, then a military pilot in World War II, later on an airline executive, and then an aerospace company executive. His story arc involved not being hireable by an aircraft company during the Depression, but later on, after being a successful business executive, he was in demand and hireable, and that completed his story arc in being an aerospace company executive. So truly, they represent the spirit of America, and that's why I would like to dedicate this award to my parents, because they helped in allowing Chinese Americans to become a part of mainstream America post-World War II and enabled follow-on generations to live the American dream. Thank you, CACA, for this award.
Okay, let me.
Thanks, Ray. Esther, did you say General Bill signing on to join us?
Yes, I called him. Yeah, I think he thought it's got pushed an hour because you guys had the thing say started at, an hour later this afternoon. So he said he will be signing on. I'm not
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
I would love to give him a round of applause, but we'll wait to see if he comes on.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, just let me know. Just ping me.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Our next awardee is Judge Michael Kwan. And Judge Kwan was nominated by Albuquerque Lodge. And Judge Kwan spent much of his life dedicated towards advocating the recognition of Asian Americans in the story of the United States. He embodied the tenements of a candidate considered for this prestigious recognition, the Spirit America Award. He was a jurist, a legal professional, community leader, and humanitarian. Ray, do you want to play that particular video? Michael Kwan.
Good evening. I'm Rusty Chan, the National Secretary of the Chinese American Citizens Alliance. I also hold the distinction of being the president of the Albuquerque Lodge of the Chinese American Citizens Alliance. It is with great honor that I introduce the Albuquerque Lodge's nominated recipient of this year's Spirit of America Award, Judge Michael Wei Kwan, a wonderful jurist and a valued member of our Chinese American community. Our only regret is we must present this award posthumously. I had the honor of meeting Judge Kwan on two notable occasions, once during one of our DC advocacy trips, and then again during the 150th anniversary of the Chinese workers on the Transcontinental Railroad.
Judge Kwan was born in Inglewood, California in 1962, the second child and only son of Fulton Checkful Kwan and Marjorie Lim Kwan. He grew up in West Hills, California, and graduated from Canoga Park High School in 1982, where he was an active member of the high school band and the junior ROTC program. Michael received his law degree from Whittier College School of Law in California and was later certified in Chinese law by the East China University of Politics and Law. He and his wife Jennifer had two wonderful children, Elizabeth and Richard, and one granddog, Bebo. The Kwans would settle in Taylorsville, Utah, where he was first an EMT for Gold Cross Ambulance, then a burn technician at the University of Utah Hospital Burn Unit. After passing the Utah bar, Michael worked as a Salt Lake City prosecutor and served as pro tempore judge in the 3rd District Court from 1996 to 1998, when he became the first municipal judge appointed to the Taylorsville Justice Court, where he presided until his death. He taught judicial and law classes at the Utah Justice Institute, the American Bar Association, and the National Drug Court, among others, and he lectured at countless educational programs across the country. Michael also was an adjunct professor of the Salt Lake Community College Criminal Justice Program for more than 20 years. Michael's service to SLCC extended to the maintenance of courses in the Criminal Justice Program, and he also served as the chair to the SLCC Criminal Justice Program Advisory Committee. His honors and awards are plentiful. He started one of the first DUI drug courts in the nation in 1998. The program was honored in 2008 with the Governor's Award for reducing drug and alcohol abuse-related crimes. It has been used as a prototype for other courtrooms across the country. His model for the domestic violence program was awarded the Peace on Earth Award from the Salt Lake Area Domestic Violence Advisory Council in 2002. He received the Utah Judicial Council's Quality of Justice Award in 2001. He founded several social justice, community, and advocacy organizations. He founded the OCA Utah chapter, serving as board member and advisor. He was also a consultant to several other OCA chapters. He served the Utah Minority Bar, Asian Pacific Islander American Public Affairs Utah chapter, Utah Asian American Chamber of Congress, and the Refugee and Immigrant Center Asian Association of Utah, where Michael was serving as board chair at the time of his death. Especially meaningful to him was the National OCA Asian Pacific American Advocates, in which he served on the executive board since 1997 and as the national president in 2015. Along with his sister Karen, Michael founded and supported OCA Utah in 1998, receiving the Pillar of the Community Award in 2012 for his tireless dedication to the Asian and Pacific Islander community. Something that gave him joy was working on the celebration and coordination of the 150th anniversary of the Chinese workers on the Transcontinental Railroad. In addition to being appointed to the State of Utah Golden Spike Commission, Michael spearheaded and led the global community of descendants, supporters, and advocates as the president and founder of the Chinese Railroad Workers Descendants Association. Michael worked tirelessly and successfully to honor and properly credit our ancestors in the celebration of the 150th anniversary of the Transcontinental Railroad, gaining global recognition for his efforts. Michael Kwan passed away at home on Tuesday, July 21st, 2020, of natural causes. He was only 58. It is, as I said, with honor that I present this plaque commemorating the Spirit of America Award, our organization's highest honor. It reads, Spirit of America Award is presented posthumously to Honorable Michael W. Kwan in recognition of a lifetime of dedicated service and leadership as a jurist, political advocate, community and civic leader, and humanitarian, and as a role model for innovation and systemic change, and as a visionary champion for justice and equity, and as a voice that brought attention to and preservation of the contributions of the Chinese railroad workers to the building of the first U.S. transcontinental railroad, who served his community, state, and nation while motivating and empowering Asian Americans. August 13th, 2021, San Francisco, California. Signed by Melanie Chan, National President. Here to accept the award on his behalf are his daughter Elizabeth and sister Karen Kwan, the representative of District 34 of the Utah Legislature.
On behalf of the entire Kwan family, we accept and thank CACA for this great honor of Michael's work and legacy, and we're so happy to be here with you all.
Hi, I'm Representative Karen Kwan, Michael's sister, and with so many of the support of CACA members, I became the very first Chinese American to run and serve in the Utah Legislature. We wanted to let you know about that Michael's work and legacy has always focused on advancing the Asian American Pacific Islander communities, but whether that meant in big or small ways, like planning the 150th anniversary of Golden Spike, or sitting at Asian Festival running the sound system, or cooking on his birthday at Living Traditions. Through his work, he's touched so many lives. It seems that Michael knew everyone and everyone knew Michael. Elizabeth, you want to tell that story about your dad?
Yeah, so when I first started as an intern for OCA Phoenix, I was always introduced as Michael's daughter, and everyone always be like, "Oh my gosh, you're Michael's daughter!" And some of them had known me since I was a baby. But it just shows that even in another state, everybody knew my dad.
Yeah, that's so true. Everyone, well, when I get introduced to people and they knew that I was his sister, he'd say, "Oh, you're Michael's sister." So that was like a lifelong thing. It was always Michael's sister. And I learned about why people loved him, or I learned stories about why people loved him. He always could find somebody in a huge group of people in like these large conference halls, sit down and talk with them and make them feel like they were the only person in the room. And he really listened to them. He really wanted to be with them and help them in any way that he could. And perhaps the best way to explain what his thinking was about that and you know, why everyone loved him is to use his own words. So, Elizabeth?
Yeah, so this is from a Facebook post I found of his from March 12th of 2010. It's titled 25 Random Things About Me. So let me go ahead and read through those for you guys. So 25. This is the second list I've done because the last and much funnier one got erased. 24. There probably isn't 25 people I would want to share this list with. 23. Philippe's in LA makes the best French dip sandwich in the world, maybe the universe. 22. I'm disappointed that I have not solved all the world's problems yet. 21. I need to eat better and exercise more. 20. I will start number 21 right after I finish this pizza and take a nap. 19. The well-being and happiness of every person is my personal responsibility. 18. I've never gone on a cruise, partly because I'm afraid I might eat myself to death at the buffets. 17. I like to think about the meaning of life and green string theory all the time. 16. I think that people are essentially good, but capable of making really poor decisions. 15. I believe that God would be great at stand-up comedy. 14. I have 2 great and cool kids. 13. What you have is less important than what you do. 12. We have yet to tap even a small percentage of the potential good of the human race. 11. I enjoy solitary thinking. 10. I know that I could complete number 22 if I could just get the Small World theme song out of my head. 9. I can cook. 8. I know where Jimmy Hoffa is buried. 7. I try to think 3 or 4 more moves ahead of people. 6. I enjoy public speaking. 5. I would rather have a thoughtful dialogue with one person than a superficial chat with 1,000. 4. I believe that happiness can only be found by improving the lives of others. 3. I am more lucky and blessed than talented and smart. 2. I worry about the direction we are headed in as a species. And 1. My wife will have to outlive me because I can't imagine a life without her. So this post sums up what my dad was like. He's humorous, funny, and always trying to make a difference in people's lives. But that last point, number 1, it did come true, and I do have some words from my mom that she wanted everyone to know. So she says, Michael was a smart, funny, and kind-hearted person. He will always be our pride. His integrity, kindness, persistence, hard work, and dedication will always affect us.
We know that Michael, if he was accepting this award, he would say, "Oh, I don't deserve it. Don't give it to me." But we know how much people loved him. And we know how much he would appreciate this award. So we thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. So thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. That was a very touching tribute to Judge Michael Kwan. Let's move on to our next awardee. Our next awardee, many of you know, and we saw earlier this week a film tribute to Corky Lee. So Corky, he had a passion for photographic justice, which highlighted the Asian American experience and the daily struggles for justice and equality. As an activist, he worked tirelessly for the equality and rights of the Chinese in America and other communities of color. He touched millions of lives with his camera and is a leader who documented history to create positive change. Ray, you want to play the video?
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay.
Good evening, brothers and sisters and friends of the Chinese American Citizens Alliance. My name is Wayne Ng, and I'm the president of the Los Angeles chapter of CACA. It is my distinct honor to introduce Spirit of America awardee, Lei Yong-go, better known to us as Corky Lee. Sadly, Corky can no longer be with us, but his memory and his legacy lives on. A self-taught photographer, Corky worked over 50 years as a photojournalist, capturing everyday Asian American life and capturing key moments of American history that affected Chinese and Asian Americans. Corky also used his camera and his time as an activist, fighting for justice for Chinese Americans and Asian Americans who are victimized and marginalized. Although Corky spent his entire life based in New York, he was seemingly everywhere with his camera. His connection with the Los Angeles Lodge is not merely casual. Corky was an inspiration to many here, including O.C. Lee, who, like Corky, is never found without his camera. Corky was also a mentor to many here, including our resident filmmakers, Baldwin Chu and Kenneth Ng. And of course, Corky was a friend of all here in LA, none more so than with Dr. Gay Yuen. I would like to invite Gay at this time to make LA's case for Corky Lee. Thank you.
It's with great honor that I am presenting the Spirit of America Award to the memory of my friend, Corky Lee. I can think of no one more deserving than Corky to be receiving an award that was created to showcase the deeply rooted values of the Chinese American Citizens Alliance. These values pointed to the heightening of the spirit of American patriotism and to ensure the legal rights and equal economic and political opportunities for its members and the Chinese American people. For more than 5 decades, Corky was here, there, and everywhere. He captured photos of the civil rights movement, the unionization of sweatshop workers, the plights of the boat people, incidents of police brutality, riots, births, deaths, voting rights, public arts murals, lion dancing in the streets, dilapidated housing, and legacy Chinatown restaurants. In Corky's own words, every time I take my camera out of my bag, it's like drawing a sword to combat indifference, injustice, discrimination, and trying to get rid of stereotypes. I met Corky for the first time in 2008 when he curated a photo exhibition at the Chinese American Museum in Los Angeles. On the gallery walls, amongst mostly deeply moving social commentary photos, were photographs of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. One photo showed an old auntie's collection of herbs and flowers growing in discarded toilet bowls all over her front yard. Another showed a restaurant owner covered up with smoke as he was offering incense to the gods. I was mesmerized by the photos in the exhibition because it captured the ordinary and extraordinary lives of our communities and our people. As we later became friends and I got to know him better, I found him to be a man of few words. Corky used his camera to do his speaking for him. The thousands of photographs he took spoke loudly of the discrimination and injustices endured by Chinese Americans and other marginalized groups in the United States. Corky's camera and photos made visible the societal problems and forgotten histories of the Chinese in America. Corky declared himself to be the undisputed, unofficial Asian American photographer laureate. He was the activist who worked tirelessly for his community and for the equity and rights of the Chinese in America and other communities of color. Jennifer Takaki, who produced and directed the documentary Photographic Justice, The Corky Lee Story, said of him, "He had no huge platform other than his camera, his being, and his efforts. But through that, he touched millions of lives. I can't think of anyone more deserving for the Spirit of America Award than my friend Corky Lee. Accepting this award in Corky's memory is his longtime partner, Karen Zhou. Karen?
Thank you, Gay. Thank you, CACA, for this posthumous Spirit of America Award to Corky. I know he would have been so pleased. Corky was a proud CACA member, and he often wore his CACA polo shirt everywhere around town. He cared deeply about civil rights and social justice. He committed much of his life's work to ensuring Asian Americans would not be invisible, and he worked hard at pitching stories to news editors so that our stories can be told in the news. Corky used to tell me how he was shaped by the Vietnam War and the anti-war protests. Activism was all around him, including community rallies that sprang up for equal rights and fair treatments for Asian Americans. Corky was part and parcel of that movement. He not only helped to organize it, he was active in documenting it. One story he often told me was how he had heard that the young lords had commandeered hospital equipment and brought it to the burials to help the poor immigrants unable to afford health care get the help they needed. This idea led Corky and other activists to organize the first Chinatown Health Fair, bringing together free health screenings that Chinatown sorely lacked and needed at the time. For years, Corky worked at Expedi Printing. The customers that came in got more than they expected when they met him because he was an encyclopedia of knowledge for all things Asian American. Corky always had the pulse of the news because the printing presses would run in the evening and became the morning news. Somehow, Corky managed to juggle his job at Expedi and running around getting photos published in media outlets. When there were riots in Chinatown against police brutality, Corky was there to cover it. When a large banquet restaurant underpaid its workers, Corky was there to photograph it and photograph the activist Yuri Kochiyama supporting and picketing with the Chinese restaurant workers. When the verdict of Vincent Chen was announced, rallies erupted denouncing the unfair sentence. Corky was there in Detroit to capture the community shock and the outrage. He often would say it's tough being Corky Lee because it was true. In a given day, he could be running to 3 or 4 events and then back at the office to do more work. For most of us, we'd be exhausted running around with Corky. He was like a Superman with boundless energy, and for that, people felt he was everywhere. It's hard to know when we go, but what's more important, I realize, is how we live our lives. And Corky's life was well lived. When I helped him put together an updated resume, I was astonished by all that he's done. He came full circle so many times. One example was of a young Corky looking at an image celebrating the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, and it did not show any Chinese railroad workers, even though he had read they were instrumental in building it. Years later, this image would remain seared in Corky's mind. His goal was to correct the omission of the Chinese railroad workers in the photo. He did this by educating and sharing this history with others, asking people to come for a reenactment photo, which was no small feat, and gathering everyone to retake a new photo, reclaiming history. The 150th anniversary of Golden Spike marked the last group photo Corky took, and it was a historic one. with the largest gathering of Asian Americans in front of 2 locomotives at Promontory Point Summit. Corky also came full circle when he was elected as a commander of the Sons of the American Legion, Lieutenant Kim Lau Post 1291, representing his father who served in World War II. For years, Corky would photograph the American Legion's parades. He never dreamed he would become a member and be on the other side of the parade. Once he joined, he quickly grew the membership of the Sons of the American Legion, and he brought people who had left Chinatown back to Chinatown again. As a proud Chinese American, Corky was patriotic, and he supported CACA's effort in the Congressional Gold Medal Recognition Project. Corky gave of his time by going to DC to share the important history of the World War II Chinese American veterans' service to this country. All the hard work finally paid off when the bill was passed, and he was so excited to hear about the National Award ceremony. Then the pandemic hit last year, and many things were put on pause. It's been extremely hard to imagine Corky not being there to photograph us. He has left a remarkable legacy of recording and bringing to light the triumphs, the struggles, the movement and moments of our community. He would want us to continue to uplift each other and to unite wherever we see injustice, indifference, and discrimination. So to all the CACA friends out there, I want to thank you for your love and support for Corky and for this very special award. Thank you so much.
Did you get that thing too? That award?
Thank you, Los Angeles Lodge, for that video. At this time, I would like to recognize General Bill. I see him on the video. I'm actually going to spotlight you. We just want to say hello and congratulations on the Spirit America. And so glad that you're able to join us today. I don't know if you just want to say a couple words to our folks here.
Okay, well, thank you again, CACA, for this award. For the last 4.5 years, I've been a volunteer, starting with the advocacy for the Congressional Gold Medal, and then on through with the registration process, helping in the design of the Congressional Gold Medal, and then the planning of our various regional Congressional Gold Medal ceremonies. I would like to say that this has really been a team effort, not work of individuals, but really a team effort under the leadership of our CAWW2 Veterans Recognition Project Lead, Ed Gore. And for those of you that were in on the very beginning, I believe we all sensed a gain in momentum when Bob Lee joined the team and brought along with him the number of retired generals and admirals from Hawaii, because I think that was the momentum that carried us over the goal line of getting the 2/3 co-sponsors on the House side and the Senate side. And of course, also under Bob's leadership, he was the lead for developing our design approach and concept for the Congressional Gold Medal. And all of you that have seen that gold medal, I believe, recognize that it really pays tribute to our deserving veterans who volunteered, were drafted in spite of the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act, and they made known to the American public who Chinese in America were and Chinese Americans here in the United States. And because of that, many of us in our current and future generations know that it's because of that legacy that we can be a part of mainstream America and live the American dream. So thank you, CACA, for your leadership.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. At this point, I want us to give a round of virtual applause to all the winners of our Spirit America, Bill Chen, Corky Lee, and Michael Kwan. So please unmute and let's do a virtual applause. Congratulations. All the awards are well deserved. And again, many thanks again to Boston, Albuquerque, and Los Angeles Lodge for your nomination and the beautiful videos. The videos will be available on YouTube. So please share with other members of your lodge and of the greater public, because we need to really, let people know who's being recognized and the accomplishments and contributions of our Chinese American leaders. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and I will see everybody, most of you, tomorrow. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Congratulations, General Bill. You rock, man.
All right.
You can't see it.
No.
They see it?
No, for some reason you can't.
We see you.